Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. This is game 9 of the Bretonnian campaign, my Bretonians versus an Orc and Goblin army. My opponent is very active on warseer.com as well as on Bull City Wargaming YouTube channel. He posts under Shimmergloom, so you may be familiar with his work. Uh, what we're playing is pretty much a pitched battle. Technically, it's a scenario from an upcoming tournament where there's 5 tokens across the middle of the table. You can pick them up. They might do you some damage. They might help you out, blah, blah, blah. But basically, I just ignored them because the damage they did was like D6 wounds, no armor saves, and it wasn't worth picking them up. So, besides that, it was pretty much a pitch battle. So we're like I said, game 9 of the Bretonnian campaign. I have 8 virtues going into this game. I need 5 more, and that's tough because Anthony and Malorian are ahead of me in it, and so it's probably going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to catch up. But nevertheless, I'm going for 3. Virtue of Audacity, putting that on my Bretonnian Lord General. You can re-roll hits and wounds when you're against models that are of higher strength than you, and that's higher strength before any modifications. You have to put him in a unit of Question Knights, and then he and or that unit have to kill a character or monster in combat. Virtue of the Joust means you have to run a no peasant army, and you have to break a cavalry unit on the charge, and that is so difficult. I mean, your opponent has to bring a cavalry unit. You have to be able to make the charge against it. You can't eventually kill him. You have to break him on the charge. I mean, just what a hassle. Virtue of Noble Disdain means you get hatred versus anything that shoots, and you cannot take any shooting, and you have to kill something that shoots. So that's what I'm going for. Let's see, far right, he's got a unit of Wolf Riders. Then he's got, you can barely see it, but behind that swamp is a spear chukka. He's got a single troll. Then he's got a horde of Savage Orc Biggins, and then some more Savage Orcs behind him. And in the top left, he's got a Doom Diver. But let's see, in with his horde of trolls, of Savage Orcs, he's got a Savage Orc Big Boss, he's got an Orc Warlord, and his Savage Orc Shaman level 1. I presume that he took him just to give him the lucky shrunken head. Makes that unit very formidable. The unit right behind him, he's got another 3 characters. He's got his Battle Standard Bearer, another level 1 with a scroll, and then his level 3 protected back here in this bunker. So, anyway, next to them, next to them. So he's bringing his list for Grail Quest. So that model. Well, anyway, he's got a unit of trolls, another Doodiver behind it, some more Wolf Riders in front of it, and then there's a weird model on a big base, and that is representing a Chaos Great Spined Beast. So the good news is that is, in addition to his 6 characters, that's another potential target for my general. The bad news is I don't know if I can handle him. That's rough. That's brutal. Let's see, there's a Spear Chukka right next to it, a unit of Goblins next to that, and another Spear Chukka in the woods. So, put my Noble Disdain Paladin with a small unit of Knights of the Realm on the far left. Their job is just to go charge a Spear Chukka, and then the Paladin's job is to survive. That's it. And that's why he has Enchanted Shield and Dawnstone, because I just want him really survivable. Then there's a big gap, and then there's my line. So, it's funny because a lot of thinking goes into this when you're trying to get these darn virtues. So on the left, my opponent had already placed his Wolf Riders, so I put my Paladin with a unit of Knights of the Realm, and they have the Swift Stride banner directly opposite them because that's the only cavalry my opponent has are 2 units of Wolf Riders. So I'm hoping he's going to use the tactic where he puts his Wolf Riders up, takes the charge, and sets you up for a counter charge. That's what I'm hoping for. That way I can take care of that unit. I've got a unit of Grail Knights. They've got my Prophetess. Knights Errant in the middle, and they've got the Errantry banner. Some Questing Knights with my General, who's got the Virtue of Audacity, Sword of Anti-Heroes, Gauntlet of the Duel. That way, if I get into a unit, I need to kill a character, he's not just hiding, and the GG Helm. And I should point out too that my Battle Standard Bearer, I gave him the Biting Blade because I forgot that for the Virtue of the Joust, in order to get those reroll benefits, you have to have a lance, and I gave him a sword, and so I don't get the rerolls. Actually, though, I think in hindsight you can use the lance on the turn you charge. I don't know. I think the Bretonnian book might be slightly different. Anyway, it didn't come into play. And on the far right is another unit of Knights of the Realm. Peg Knights on the far right. Vanguard looks like that. Vanguard looks like that. I, of course, pray. And Orcs and Goblins, of course, fail Animosity with their most important unit. you know, My opponent here is really good about that. He didn't complain one bit whenever he failed animosity, or at least didn't complain much. That's the reason I could never play Orcs and Goblins. That rule would kill me. But you can't complain because 1/6 of the time it should happen. Anyway, so his horde of Savage Orcs, they squabble, or they're too far away to charge anything. So anyway, overall it looks like you can see it. Over here he picks up a token and then swings around the side of my Peg Knights. I don't really care about this unit, to be honest with you. I have nothing in my backfield that I need to protect, and I just want to go forward and charge his Spear Chuck anyway. And here on the far left, so we set it up to where if I charge his Wolf Riders, I think he's going to hold and then countercharge with his unit of 8 Trolls, which is a very good counter to Bretonnian Knights. And there's the Great Spine Beast, Great Chaos Spine Beast thingy. Yeah. So, he has a Magic Phase, a pretty big one, and all the shooting, 3 Spear Chuckers and 2 Doom Divers, and at the end of it all, he kills a Questing Knight and a Grail Knight. I felt very, very fortunate. I did have to burn my scroll to stop the big foot of Gork or whatever, but I'll take it. So we moved Bretonnian turn 1. So I charged the Battle Standard Bearer into his fast cav. He held, and I've got to deal with those trolls later, but at least I should be able to get this virtue. Otherwise, there's nothing really to do. What I'd like to do, my plan here actually, is I want to charge everything I can into those trolls. So my hope is that the trolls, my thinking is that the troll, if my Battle Standard Bearers unit should beat the Wolf Riders, the trolls should charge. I'm just going to run away. I'm hoping he rolls high enough that he won't catch me, but he will move forward several inches, and then I can countercharge with all the units on my right. I'd like to blow past his horde and get on the other side of him, mop up all the small units, and use my Peg Knights maybe to redirect his horde. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It doesn't really look like it, but that's the nice thing about Bretonnia is you have this great mobility. On the far left, just marching up as fast as I can. There's nothing he has I'm really worried about. One benefit of this virtue is that if he does shoot at me, I don't think he even have to take panic tests, but I don't think he's going to shoot at me anyway because there's juicier targets. Yeah, easily beat the dogs in combat, and I do not overrun. I don't want the charge into the trolls. I'll just stay right there. So, beginning of work turn 2, his Wolf Riders, because they picked up that token, the bad thing happened where they took wounds. They took 2 wounds, failed their panic, and ran off the table. That's why I'm not messing with those stupid tokens. His trolls charge my Battle Standard Bearers unit, and I flee. I fled far enough. I think it was an impossible charge, so I think he redirected to my Grail Knights, and needed a 10 and got a 9. It was pretty scary. So overall, it looks like that. His horde of Savage Orcs, I think, failed animosity again. You've got to be kidding me. That would frustrate me so badly. His troll on the far right moves up, so he's kind of blocking my Knights of the Realm, but kind of not. For my Knights of the Realm to make it to those trolls, all I have to do is charge first with my General's unit, and once they're out of the way, I can easily wheel and get past that troll, so I'm not really worried about it. So my plan right now is to take, 3 or 4 units into the face of those trolls, and again, just kind of blow by them, and at the same time park my Peg Knights in front of his horde of Savage Orcs, so he can't do anything about it. So then we go to his Magic Phase, and that stupid big foot of Gork pounds on my Grail Knights and my Questing Knights. The big mistake, and I'm telling you, it came down, it pounded on him. Okay, so first the Magic Phase, he casts a Sniper spell at my Prophetess. I let it through because I have MR2 plus a 5-up ward against, the Strength 5 hit. And so I let it go through. It does, it does a hit on me. I've got a 3-up ward, and I fail it, take a wound to my Prophetess. Made me so mad. Then the big foot of Gork goes off, targets my Grail Knights, and then I forget I have MR2, and I'm taking 5-up ward saves instead of 3-up ward saves. So anyway, he kills 5 Grail Knights, or 4 Grail Knights this turn. He decides that's enough and then puts it on my Questing Knights, kills 2. I think I got really lucky. The other 3 dead models came from his last turn. I think I got lucky because, again, that foot of Gork came down 5 times, 6 times, and it just kept on scattering off. Then I finally got to place it one time, I think, or maybe not. Anyway, this is what those units look like afterwards. Very much depleted. And then I placed it on him and killed a few, whatever. And then he goes to a shooting phase, and I lose another Grail Knight, put another wound on my Prophetess. Um, Getting kind of dicey there. And we go to Bretonnia turn 2. Oh, this made me so angry. And I can't complain because he's been having awful luck with his horde of Savage Orcs. But I declare a charge with all three of my rightmost knight units, not my Grail Knights, but the other three. And I go first with my general because I need my questy knights all the way on the left-hand side of those trolls. So if they, I think I needed I think I needed to roll a 7 on Swift Stride, and then I'd put them on the far left and put the other two knights in. That way, when he broke, we would veer to the left, and my general's unit would charge his Chaos Great Spine Beast, and I have a chance to get that virtue. Short story long, my general's unit fails their charge. I rolled a 3, a 1, and a 1, and because they failed their charge, it was a failed charge for the unit on the right. And my Knights Errant, of course, have an easy charge, and one-on-one, that's not going to go well for the Knights Errant. Very disappointed with that. If you look in the bottom left, my Battle Standard Bearers unit rallied. It rallied, and then I took my Prophetess and put her in with them. And then we weren't sure if that was legal, and didn't want to take the time to look it up, so I pulled her back out. Yeah, I was miffed at failing that charge with the Questing Knights. Yeah, the unit on the far left made its charge into the bolt thrower in the woods, spear chuck in the woods, so I just kind of went forward and then wheeled, so I only had to take, I think, a single dangerous terrain test. So there's that. This is on the far right, tried to charge a spear chucker behind that swamp and failed my charge. And that's just a picture. I pulled her out of the unit. I just said that's fine. She never went in there. She can just sit out there, hopefully close enough to get a modified lookout sir roll. So after combat, I get Wyson's Wild Form off in the Knights Errant. I do exactly 3 wounds, which, by the way, is what I predicted I would do. He did 3 wounds to me. I don't know if that's above or below odds, but we stuck, and now it's just going to be a world of hurt because his big monster's going to come crashing into their flank. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. His big monster comes crashing into their flank. His Savage Orc Biggins. This is the 3rd turn. 2 of the 3 turns he failed his animosity. The other turn, I don't know what he did. He just didn't move up very far. So whatever order that happened, they are where they are. It could be they tried to charge and failed. I just don't know. His troll on the right failed its stupidity test and stumbled forward, so it's 1 inch in front of my knight unit, so it is effectively blocking them now. Yeah, there's that. That is not good. That is not good at all. Let's see. These knights easily killed the War Machine, and then they got countercharged by his goblins. Now, I could have overran, but I didn't think I'd hit the goblins anyway. I needed a 9, and there's a chance I wouldn't have, and so I would have had to take dangerous terrain test, and then he could have charged me anyway, so I just stuck there and let him charge me. That way, if I can win combat, he won't be steadfast, because he's in woods. Let's see, magic and shooting. He's picking on these units, doesn't kill too awful much. I think a Doom Diver scattered and hit his own unit here, and so I'm just showing it did some wounds. They're still pretty formidable. After combat, he only does 3 wounds. I'm sorry. He does 6 wounds. That's right. So he does 6 wounds, but luckily I do some wounds in return. Blah blah blah. Amazingly enough, I stick. Amazingly enough. So I'm on my general's leadership with a reroll, so all that helps. But yeah, so they stick. I'm not sure if they would have broken, if it would have mattered a whole lot. Over here, as Goblins charged in, I did a bunch of wounds to him. He only did 1 to me. Easily broke. I pursued and ran 11 inches. So actually, my original plan was to charge that spear chucker that's just north of him. But now, I am right in the flank of his Battle Standard Bearers unit that's been greatly depleted, and he's got his level 3, a level 1, and his BSB in there. So there's an opportunity to develop there. So we go to Bretonnia turn 3. This is when things get really interesting. So lower right, Knights charge the Troll, because what the heck else are they going to do? Pegasus Knights charge the flank of his horde. My only fear there is that I win combat. I don't want to do very many wounds to him. So I have 2 Knights that are targeting his hero level character, because I know he'll be more difficult to wound, and I don't want to do enough wounds to him. I want him to win combat. He will have to pursue me to the left, and once that happens, if my knights can kill the troll, which they should, they can overrun, and I might be able to hit him, hopefully in the flank, possibly in the rear. So I'm very excited about that. If you look at the very top, I got the charge into the flank of his BSB's unit. Very excited about that. And then my general and his Question Knights and all the Knights of the Realm with my BSB come crashing in to the Chaos Giant Beast whatever thing. So right now it's all one combat, but if the trolls kill the rest of my Knights Errant, which they really should, then we're going to be in two separate combats, so it'll be kind of weird. Yep, there's that. Very, very happy with this being set up. I'm so glad that I failed the charge against that Spear Chukka. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered because I just would have reformed it anyway. There's the BSB. I don't know how this is going to go, but what an opportunity. I have a flank, a charge, I'm hard to wound, and like I said, he's got his BSB at a level 3 and a level 1 in there. And there's that. This I need for the virtue. I already have 2 of the 3 virtues. This is the 3rd one right here, if we can kill this thing. And we killed. During the magic phase, I rolled low, and which was perfect. I put all my dice into Savage Beast on my general, and my general, 7 attacks, reroll into hit, reroll into wound. He just went to town on that thing. So great Chaos Bind Beast thing is dead. The Knights Errant are dead. It's 2 separate combats. So the trolls didn't even have to take a break test. That was kind of a bummer because I had a lot of combat res. So my only fear here is I don't want those trolls charging my general. I fear that if I flee, he might be able to catch me. My only hope is that he's away from his leadership, so he'll fail a stupidity test. If you look on the right, he beat and ran down my Pegasus Knights. I beat the troll and overran into the flank of that unit. So we're going to fight that on his turn. Yeah, so if he sticks and reforms, that isn't wonderful for me, but I've got a chance to break him, and if I break him, that's easily the game. So my original hope was just to get them facing the wrong way, messing with my Peg Knights the rest of the game, but I'll take this opportunity. If you look up top, I charged in. I'm going to challenge my character and his Battle Standard Bearer. We've traded 1 wound each. Again, my guy's pretty survivable. 1 up rerollable armor save, and then a 5 up ward save. His BSB has a great weapon. Is also fairly survivable. So just kind of a dicey thing going on up there, but I like my odds in the long run. Turn 4, he fails. He's on leadership 4, I think. Even with a reroll, he fails it, so they stumble forward. Very, very glad to see that. And over here we go to combat. He puts all the fightiness he can in characters on that side, and it just doesn't matter. It's hard to win Bretonnia. It's hard to wound Bretonians because I've got a 2-up armor save and then the ward save. He does a few wounds to me, not nearly enough. I do enough wounds to him. I've got a charge, a flank. I've got 2 ranks. He doesn't have any ranks. I beat him. He's too far away for a reroll. We beat him, break him, run him down, and that, my friends, is the game. Although we keep on playing. So Bretonnia, we had to keep on playing because of this campaign, just to make sure that there was nobody accused me of stopping a game when I still could have lost it, although I don't think I could have. Bretonnian turn 4, BSB's unit charges the trolls. My general's unit does not because they're too depleted, and I think he could easily kill my general. My fear here is he could put a lot of vomit attacks on my Battle Standard Bearer, so we go to the magic phase. I roll relatively low. I throw all the dice at the Pan's Impenetrable Pelt on my Battle Standard Bearer. So he's got, because my general's unit's there, I could only maximize models such that he only has 4 trolls fighting. 2 have to go my BSB, all 4 can. But my BSB hopefully will be toughness 7, and so even though he has these automatic hits, strength 5 vomit attacks, it's not going to do anything. Not going to do nearly enough. So there's a close-up. Knights, the heroes of the game, go ahead and charge a Spear Chukka because why not? And after it, yeah, I got the defense buff up on my BSB. He put all his attacks there because he figured no matter else what he did, he was going to lose through combat res and die, so he tried to snipe my BSB with vomit, and that didn't work. Beat him, ran him down, did not make it into the other combat. My paladin died, who was in a challenge with his Battle Standard Bearer. He returned to face me, but it's not going to matter now because no matter what happens his next turn, he's going to get charged by that unit, and it's not going to go well for him. So he wanted to go ahead and do his 5th turn to see what he could kill. He couldn't break that unit. There's only 2 knights left. He still just couldn't break them. He's shooting everything he can at my general and prophetess, but he's either missing, scattering off, or whatever. So there's some wounds among them, but they live. And at that point, we call the game because I was just going to charge into his battle center. I mean, there's no way he could win the game at this point. So we called it right there. So the Virtue of Audacity. My general went into the Questing Knights and they killed a character, killed a monster. Virtue of the Joust. I didn't take any peasants and we broke a cavalry unit on the charge. Virtue of Noble Disdain. I didn't take any shooting and we killed something that shot. So finally, I think it's been since game one. I finally got all three virtues in the game. So that's 11 down. I've got 2 left. Like I said, I don't think it matters because the other 2 are ahead of me. But hopefully I can knock out both of those virtues in my next game and not have to stretch this thing out. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.